For everybody out there who's going, when are they going to talk about Sky High? I want them to talk about Sky High. Sky High is my favorite DCOM. It's not a DCOM.
Yeah, I get the question all the time of like, oh, how do you like Sky High? You watch every DCOM. How do you like Sky High? Sky High released in theaters.
It's not a DCOM. Did I see it in theaters? No. I saw it on DVD. But that's not the point.
Did it play on Disney Channel? Yes.
Sure.
Is its budget very clearly higher than every other movie we're really talking about?
Yes. And let me tell you, I fucking love Sky High. I grew up on Sky High.
Oh, Sky High?
It's fantastic.
It would make my day if we could talk about Sky High.
But we can't. It's not a DCOM. So stop talking about it. This is the closest you're going to get. Up and away, baby.
Up and away basically is Sky High.
It's
shocking how much Sky High took from Up and Away. And that is the order of events.
That's true. This came out first. Sky High is just a ripoff, y'all. But it is better. Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
And we are your super DCOM duo.
Yeah,
we're superheroes for this episode.
That we are. You
can tell by our outfits.
Yeah, you can't tell, but we are wearing just the goofiest superhero outfits you ever seen in your life. And we're telling the truth.
Totally telling the truth. Superheroes don't lie.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So yeah, we're talking about Up and Away.
Up and away.
Up and away.
Up. It's a DCOM.
Yeah. Is it potentially the most forgettable DCOM? Potentially.
I think it is. And before we were saying like Hounded is very forgettable, but in terms of my brain, I remember Hounded. I forget that Up and Away is a movie. I think the most out of any DCOM.
Kelsey and I have actually pretty differing opinions on this film.
Yeah.
I am a defender of this film. Kelsey is pretty anti this film. We'll talk about that when we go through this movie.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting how a movie with a decently good premise. I mean, we just talked about loving Sky High in the cold open. And Sky High stole the premise and just made minor changes.
And they added a school.
Yeah. And with nothing that really like stands out as being bad, but
it's forgettable.
And
that's what I don't like about it.
This film doesn't have the sauce.
No.
It doesn't have the juice. It doesn't have
the good sauce, and it doesn't have the bad sauce that you think tastes good anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a very bland sauce.
For a movie with a very unique for DCOM like setting, scope, and plot, it's shockingly forgettable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For real. Who's even heard of this movie? No one.
Has anyone listened to this podcast? Who would click on Up and Away?
I want to know who out there grew up watching DCOMs and was like, yo, Up and Away was my favorite.
I can't wait for them to cover Up and Away.
Yeah. I want to meet that person.
Let us know. But before we get into the factos, let's talk fan mail. Do we have any fan mail today?
Mm-mm.
I didn't check.
No, we don't. We never have fan mail.
We don't have fan mail.
Nobody ever.
Come on, y'all.
Us.
Fan mail us.
It's sad. We want to hear your thoughts on DCOMs because we like talking about them.
Yeah. Is anyone out there?
Is anyone even there?
Probably not for this episode.
Out there? No. Probably not this episode.
So yeah, please email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com. We want your fan mail. You can also like leave a YouTube comment or send us physical mail. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty fun. Pretty neat.
All right. I did the factos this week. What?
Did the factos for Up and Away?
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy. Tell me about it.
It'd be kind of silly if I did for another movie when this week we're talking about Up and Away.
That's valid.
Yeah. So time for the DCOM Duo factos. Up and Away was released January 22nd, 2000. It's the 13th DCOM.
That is pretty early, and it makes sense that there's not really an established formula.
Mm-hmm. This movie is directed by Robert Townsend. He also starred in this movie.
What? He's a director and an actor?
Yes.
Honestly, that should happen in more DCOMs, and I'm kind of surprised it doesn't.
It is a little weird, because DCOMs are children focused.
Well, that's why you won't have to cast another adult into this.
I guess so.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe I'm wrong. That's something that happens decently often, especially on smaller budget projects. You just cast yourself in the role.
Yeah. So here's some of the things he's directed. We'll talk about his acting when we talk about the cast. He's done a bunch of like TV stuff, music videos, a lot of Black stories particularly. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing I thought was Eddie Murphy Raw.
That was like the stand-up special that went really big. Yeah. I think I know that.
Yeah. Cool. So going into the cast now, our main character, Scott Marshall, a.k.a. Warrior Eagle.
Thank you for including their superhero names.
It included on Wikipedia, so I thought I have to as well. He's played by Michael J. Pagan. He's really done nothing big. The one thing that I saw was like one episode of CSI Crime Scene Investigation.
Everyone gets to be on CSI.
Yeah, I know. It's this cast, let me tell you, not star-studded, which shouldn't be a surprise. This movie was not big. Next we have Jim Marshall, aka Bronze Eagle. Robert Townsend. Oh my God, there he is.
These superhero names are kind of cringe.
Bronze Eagle. He's done, for acting, a bunch of stuff I don't know. The biggest thing I do know is he's done 6 episodes of The Bear.
That's very big currently.
Yeah, he is Sydney's dad.
Makes sense. I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched that show.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty fun. Next, we have the mom, Judy Marshall, a.k.a. Warrior Woman. She's played by Alex Datcher, and it's just a bunch of stuff I don't know. So sorry, Alex Datcher. Next, Adam Marshall, the brother, a.k.a. Silver Charge. He's played by Kassan Butcher. He did 12 episodes of Malcolm in the Middle as Joe. I don't know who that is. I've never watched Malcolm in the Middle. He did 2 episodes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Let's go. Wow. And then nothing else I really recognize.
I feel like you went out of your comfort zone for some of these.
Next we have Molly Marshall, the younger sister. She's played by Ariel Davis. She didn't really do anything big. She did like child acting stuff and then took a huge break in acting from 2007 to 2018. She did nothing. Acting wise,
I'm not going to be an actor anymore.
And then since 2018, she's only done like 2 different shows. She did 1 episode of, and then a movie called Puzzled. Cool. Next, Edward Marshall, aka Steel Condor,
aka Grandpa.
He's played by Sherman Hemsley. He sadly did pass away in 2012 at the age of 74. I saw on Wikipedia he was a jazz keyboardist in the late 80s / early 90s, so nice. I thought that was cool. He's been acting since the mid 70s. He did 3 episodes of The Love Boat, which I was like, hey, that's something I recognize. But then I saw, he played George Jefferson in The Jeffersons.
Oh, well, that's very big, ain't it? That's like,
I think so.
I feel like this guy is way bigger than we were giving him credit for.
Yeah, and I saw that like he also played this character in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like I'm guessing they had a crossover thing.
I didn't. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that could happen.
Yeah, and he just did a bunch of other like smaller stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, The Jeffersons was certainly a show that was big.
Yeah. Next we have Randy, the best friend. He's played by Christopher Marquette. He's done just a ton of like 1 episode guest stars on a bunch of kids shows.
Did the rounds.
Yes. For his shows I saw, he had like a main role in. One was Joan of Arcadia, which to me looked like a very weird like Dawson's Creek, but it was religious.
Dawson's Creek, but Joan of Arc.
But she talked to God.
Gotcha. So Joan of Arc.
It was like So Help Me Todd. But
So Help Me God.
Yeah. And then nothing else I really recognize, except like apparently he was in Race to Witch Mountain also.
Cool, I remember that.
He played Pope.
I don't know.
As in the Pope?
He was just the Pope? Wow.
Possibly.
Pretty cool.
I don't know. Or maybe his name was Pope. Next, we have Amy, the love interest, played by Jamie Renee Smith. The only consistent role she's had since childhood, other than like one episode guest roles or a TV movie, was a show called Hidden Canyons, which was from 2021 to 2022.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I, but she's still trying. She's out there.
Good for her. Go off, queen.
Yeah. Next, we have Malcolm, our evil villain, played by Kevin Connolly. He actually had some recognizable stuff. Like, I feel like he's made a little bit of a name himself.
His face was pretty recognizable.
Yeah. So his first acting role was in Rocky V as Chicky.
I haven't seen Rocky V.
I'm sure he was a child when that happened. He was in The Notebook as Finn, which I think would be like one of the friends. I don't know.
I haven't seen The Notebook.
I've barely seen The Notebook. He was in He's Just Not That Into You as Connor. So let me know if that's a big role or not. He was in Secretariat as Bill Knack.
Think that was
a big role?
Think so.
I have no idea.
I have seen Secretariat one time.
Okay. Finally.
Years ago.
Finally, this is what I think actually is his biggest role. He was in Entourage as Eric Murphy.
The show, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
And the movie.
And the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
I mean, yeah, Entourage was a big deal.
Yes. So I think that's where you've most likely recognized him from. Finally, we have Nina, who was kind of working with Malcolm. She's played by Olivia Burnett. She really has no big roles. The last thing she did was 10 episodes of Sons of Anarchy. She played homeless woman.
Man, imagine stretching the role of homeless woman out for 10 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. And she's done nothing since 2014. I saw she was like married to a musician, and I was like clicking on his name, like maybe he's a famous musician. And it mentioned the script, the band, but then when I looked up the script, he's not mentioned as a band member. So I'm like, what the fuck? What, did he like write a song for them maybe? Like, It was such a lie. I got so excited I was going to put it in the facts. Yeah, so that's literally it. I have zero fun facts. There was like no information about this movie.
Again, this one's kind of been wiped off the face of the planet. It's kind of, it feels weird that it's even on Disney Plus. It is.
There are some DCOMs that are not on Disney Plus, and this feels like such one that wouldn't be.
This feels so much like that. The fact that one like Judge Jackson the movie isn't is wild.
I know.
Because that's like based on a Disney Channel
And there's
show.
like The Other Me. I feel like that should be on Disney Plus.
Those feel just vibes wise, and this feels vibe wise like one that wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because again, it feels different.
Mm-hmm.
Feels distinct. And that's part of it's being the 13th DCOM. There's not much beforehand for it.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get into the Disney Plus description?
Heck yeah.
Okay. The Marshalls aren't your typical family. While ordinary in appearance, they are actually superheroes. There's no exclamation point there. Just pausing to say that.
They're actually superheroes.
Yeah.
Period.
It is very nonchalantly saying that. Scott Marshall has been anxiously awaiting his 14th birthday, traditionally the time when superheroes obtain full control of their powers. Unfortunately, with the big day less than a week away, Scott is not exhibiting any signs of extraordinary behavior. But when his family is captured by a criminal mastermind, Scott is suddenly left as the last hope to stop the evil plan and save humankind. It's fine.
Yeah. No, that is the movie.
That's roughly the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird. I can't say this movie, like I don't know why I'm talking about it here, but it's kind of in the description here. It is the whole time leading up to this final conflict, but the final conflict takes like 10 minutes.
And it's
not
really,
like a third act. It's just like all build up for it.
And it really is just kind of lame. But we can talk about it later.
We'll talk about it when we get to there. Yeah. You ready to jump in to Up and Away?
Oh shoot, I'm not prepared for this. Hold on. I'm ready to The Color of Friendship into this movie.
We're going to color of friendship into this movie. Okay. So we start with the Earth spinning with some creepy sci-fi music in the background.
Yeah, it's you can tell this movie was made in 2000.
Yeah. We see the Up and Away logo, which all like the old DCOMs had their own like specific logo.
I know, it was so fun. And sometimes they still do.
So then we see the Earth Protectors logo circling the Earth. And then we see our evils of the movie, we don't know right at this fact that they're evil. It gets revealed within like the first 10 minutes. But it's Malcolm and Nina. They're talking about how they're changing the world with Earth protectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then we fade into Scott's bedroom where he's just playing soccer with himself.
It's a very small bedroom. He's just kind of like very lightly kicking the soccer ball. And then he goes, oh, he scores. And he kicks the ball. And off camera, you hear the dad fall.
You hear the dad go, ah!
And then it pans over and he's on the floor. Like they couldn't afford a stunt double.
All DCOMs are low budget. This one either spent his budget in weird ways, which it might have because they show superhero effects and that CG has to cost something.
That's true. It's where all the money went.
But like they do not do any action scenes for a superhero
not really.
movie.
They love doing a lot of stuff just out of frame and you can hear it. You can hear that stuff's happening, but you can't see it.
Yeah. So the dad comes in, he's like, oh, you kicked that soccer ball at me? Well, I can't be mad at you. I can't be mad at a kid who has his birthday in 4 days.
The way he
son.
The way he said it was so weird. It's just like, how can I be mad at a kid who has a birthday in 4 days? He's so weird.
And when you pan over to Scott's face and he's like not that happy that his birthday's in 4 days. Mm-hmm. What? Huh? Confusion.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why do they have this countdown for his birthday, we'll find out. It is an important birthday.
The first like 5-10 minutes, they're trying to lead you astray that this movie is going to be something other than a superhero movie.
I know, it's like they want to keep it a surprise.
Yeah. So if you like turned it on for the first time and you're like, Up and Away, that certainly sounds like a classic family drama with middle class Americans. No.
Yeah. You watch the beginning, you're like, something hooky's going on with this family. They're not normal. I don't know what it is. It's like they're superheroes, but they want to act like it's a huge reveal.
So we see them sit down as a family. I wrote for dinner, but it's actually for breakfast.
It's breakfast.
It's for breakfast. And we see the whole family. Scott has a younger sister and an older brother. Yep. And they're all just chatting and doing typical sibling banter. Nothing to write home about. Meanwhile, we didn't mention this. This is a black movie. I think we did before.
We didn't really.
Kelsey's like favorite moment in this movie, I think, was this very next thing when the first white character comes on screen.
He just comes in. Okay, so they're eating breakfast, right? They're a black family. This white boy comes in who's
his name's Randy.
Randy, and he's Scott's friend. And he just comes in and he's like, hey, Marshalls. And he comes in and they just like
they stare at daggers
him.
Into him.
They just
invited
go quiet.
Himself into the house.
They just go quiet and the mood drops. And they're just like, hey, Randy. What you got there?
What you got there?
And he's like, zucchini bread?
Yeah, he has a zucchini bread wrapped in tin foil. And they're all like, put that down right
Just put it on the table, Randy. And then they leave. He and Scott leave. And it's just like, I don't know, it was just funny how jarring it was when he walked in and they just stared daggers at him.
Yeah. So Scott and Randy go and bike to school and Scott's like, don't worry about my family. They're just deathly allergic to zucchini.
Yeah. Because Randy's like, your family's weird.
And guess what? They are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While they're biking, they see their neighbor girl, Amy Rosen, who's like, hey, Scott, I'm better than you at soccer. And Scott's like, no, I'm going to be captain. They're all on the same soccer team.
Yeah, and they're like competing for captain because apparently the whole team just gets to vote on who gets to be captain.
Yep.
Okay.
And Amy's very clearly got a crush on him, but whatever. And
everybody teases them both about it the whole movie. They're like, oh, you like the other one. And it's like, no, I don't. We're 14.
And meanwhile, they like egg each other on, and she does eventually kick the ball at their bikes and absolutely knocks over Randy. Again, off camera.
Yeah, so she kicks the ball and Scott's like, you missed. And then you pan over and Randy's on the ground and he's like, no, she didn't. They couldn't hire a stunt double to knock a bike over. Nope. This action happening off camera.
Cut back to the family household where the mom is holding with tongs the zucchini bread and bringing it to the backyard where, like, triple size of a coffin hole.
Yeah, he's like a huge just fucking trench he dug in the backyard for this zucchini bread and tinfoil. And they're talking to each other as they're disposing of this.
Yeah. So they're like, man, we should really not pressure Scott so much about his birthday because, the reason that we're not talking about.
Yeah.
Also, I love zucchini bread.
Yeah, it's a shame. They have a garbage can in this trench. So they have like a garbage can buried in their backyard and they throw it away. And he's like, what a shame. I really do love zucchini bread. So this is a clue to the audience like, oh, they're not allergic to zucchini. It's something else.
Man, should I be suspicious about that giant hole that they dug in no time?
Yeah, she mentioned like, oh, being around this stuff makes me woozy. So it's like the tinfoil.
What is your opinion on zucchini bread?
I don't know if I've ever really had zucchini bread. I feel like I would like it though.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I've had it once and I thought it's worse than banana bread, but it's certainly acceptable.
I know I love banana bread. So.
All right. Cut to the school day. Scott's in class. We get to see a decent amount of school in this DCOM, but it's all Earth Protectors.
Yeah, Earth Protectors. They're like a recycling company or something.
Yeah, they're like a multimedia project where they're like, hey, kids, take this lesson on recycling. How did we get into the school's curriculum for like weeks? I don't know.
They bought every kid a computer to have at home. That's something they mentioned.
How did they have that much money?
That's a good question.
Man, I sure hope we find that out.
Yeah.
So Malcolm's in there and he's telling everyone like, okay, kids, make sure to recycle. Everyone, you're looking good. Do your thing.
Yeah, and then he goes up to a girl who's like crumpling a piece of paper and he's like, hey, are you gonna recycle that? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, good girl. Like, it was weird.
It was weird. But then he walks out of the school and he's like, everyone, be healthy, save the planet. And
recycle that.
Right into this sketchy looking van.
Mm-hmm.
And he closes it and he's like, little they know, I'm evil.
I'm evil. I hate children. Let me open up this piece of gum and throw the wrapper out the door.
it is very obvious where it's just he literally closes the van and he's like, I hate kids.
He didn't even like get in the van before he started talking about hating kids though. Like any kid could have heard him talk about how much he hates this.
Yeah. So yeah, just to rub it home, he litters, which is also really dumb because that could easily blow your cover.
I know.
But whatever. They just have to make it that obvious.
He's evil.
Yeah, Malcolm's evil. That's our big bad for this film. They don't have a surprise villain here, which is fine. Honestly, my favorite part of this whole plot is him. Malcolm? I think. Just in terms of, I feel like the evil plot here is actually a pretty interesting one. That has a lot of fun concepts to it. I don't know if it's executed perfectly, but I think that's the closest this movie has to having the juice. To having that special sauce that makes it fun to talk about.
Yeah.
So he goes to a bank and he's like, it's time for us to go get money. I'm going to go check my bank account. And he's like, I need to take thousands of dollars out of my bank account, Mr. Teller. And the teller's like, you only have $1.37 in your account? And Mac's like, can you check that again? Just as the clock hits the 30-minute mark, like he sees in the bank window. And then suddenly the Earth Protectors screen goes on every computer
How did they manage that?
Maybe they've been tapping this bank for months.
They just put in their little CD-ROM.
Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Their evil scheme is demonstrated here, where once this Earth Protectors disc is playing, everyone suddenly becomes brainwashed that's watching it. They become slack-jawed, and they are hypnotized to the point where you can say anything and you'll give it to them.
They'll do it.
So
it didn't say put the money in the bag. They just kind of started doing it.
Yep.
Which is, I don't get how this works. I guess it's like subliminal messages.
I think the concept behind it is that like the disc was all saying to do that. not.
But you
them.
never hear, even like later when they're brainwashing again, you never hear the disc being like, dude,
yeah, I think it's all mental, not
it's
like
audio. Some kind of crazy technology that you can't hear out loud.
Yeah. So everyone's just handing over hundreds of dollars and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not all perfect because the tellers realize what's going on.
Well, one of the guys sneezes and they snap out of it.
They snap out of it and they're like, wait, what's going on? Why are we handing you literally thousands of dollars?
Police!
And
police!
Yeah, they're like, security! And Malcolm just walks.
He's just like,
He just calmly walks away.
Shit.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
So we cut to the dad driving Randy, Amy, and Scott, the 3 kids that matter. There's no other kid in this film.
No, there's literally no other kid.
Yep. I mean, other than, I guess, Molly.
Yeah, and his older brother.
And he gets an alert on his pager, and he's like, oh, guys, I'm going to have to drop you off at the corner here.
And the kids are like, what the fuck? Why does this always happen?
Why do you always have to, like, not drive us to soccer?
Yeah.
So Randy and Amy go run ahead because they got to catch the soccer practice. Meanwhile, Scott stays back to chat with his dad briefly because he has to watch his dad strip down.
Yeah, so all we see is like a shot of like a rock, right? And you see clothes just being tossed onto the rock, and then it pans over and he's in the like goofiest superhero outfit you've ever seen. He's in
one of the goofiest superhero outfits. Again, he's the Warrior Eagle, or no, Bronze Eagle. It's kind of dumb.
He's like hot shit in this town. He's like the superhero.
Yeah. So he's got these goofy ass ear like mask things.
Mm-hmm. He's an eagle.
But he just says, all right, I gotta go save this bank. Up, and away. And he flies away.
He always has to say up, and away.
So does everyone when you fly.
Why is that a rule?
May I don't know the superhero, superpower, super stuff.
It's doing too much. I'm gonna be real. They could have named the movie Up, and Away and not have them say that every single time.
But whatever. So he makes it to the bank, and the mom's already there. What? The mom's like, man, I'm always having to come and save your butt because you're not getting here in time. He's like, I was driving the kids. Meanwhile, they're beating up a bunch of goons. And they just squabble about, I had an important meeting this day.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to soccer practice, blah, 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 while punching everyone. This is the closest we get to an action scene. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. It is kind of fun how they're nonchalantly beating guys up. It's very much The Incredibles when they're on the roof, flirting with each other, beating a guy
Which is a good vibe.
It is a good vibe. For a superhero couple, it is.
And this is before The Incredibles, so we got to give it the credit for that. It's not like paying an homage to it.
That's true.
Like, superhero media can be fun like this, whereas the nonchalantness is fun.
Mm-hmm. And then like the guys just run over to a van and they let it happen and they're still squabbling. And then the guys like kind of step in front of the van and the guys drive the van into him and he just holds his hand out and the van like flips over.
It's pretty
he's
funny.
That strong.
Yeah.
It's very unclear exactly what their superpowers are.
They're also just letting a lot of these goons get away, but they all find a way to get back.
Well, once he flips over the van, they try to run again and the cops get them. So that's how they get him. But like, what are their superpowers? Because we know Bronze Eagle can fly. And he's also super strong. He just flipped over a van.
Warrior Woman is strong.
And she lifts up the van.
She can bike at supersonic speed.
Yeah, that I don't understand. She gets on a motorcycle and she zooms away super, super fast. Like, is it the bike moving that fast? Or
probably not. It's probably her moving the bike.
How does that make sense? It's like a motorcycle. It's not a bicycle, guys. Yeah. It's like a motorcycle.
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Whatever. Dad goes up and away and they fly away. And if you're wondering where Malcolm was this whole time, he's in the crowd being interviewed by the news, being like, yeah, that was crazy. I was just in the bank. And
I'm so happy the heroes showed up. He gets away with it just by pretending he wasn't a part of it. So good on him.
Even though they were looking right at him, the bank tellers were right there.
They may have still been somewhat brainwashed.
I don't know.
Everyone else was being more suspicious.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. All right, cut back to soccer tryouts. And we can see Scott, who is just missing the net. He's not that good at soccer.
They're like, pass it. And he shoots and he misses. And they're like, what the heck? You should have passed the ball. You're not going to be captain.
Yeah. Amy's like, I'm going to be captain at this rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see Dad. He made it back to watch practice.
I think it's a game. I think it's an actual game.
Okay. Well, they would know their captain before. I think it's a tryout. I think they say it's soccer tryouts.
Really?
Yeah. But they're probably scrimmaging as a part of it.
Yeah.
And the brother shows up. He runs at the speed of light to come catch them. In case you didn't know, the brother's also a superhero.
Yeah, he's super fast, and he's like, I have electricity. Zap, zap. I can erase people's minds if I want to.
Mm-hmm. So they talk a bit about, man, are we worried about Scott having powers?
Yeah, because if you don't get powers by the time you're 14, you never get them.
That's Everyone
the rules.
Knows this.
That's the rules.
And so if he doesn't get it in the next 4 days, he's just never going to be powerful. And they're like, well, that would be kind of sad.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Side note, you did put before turning 1, and I just added the 4. I thought that was funny. He doesn't get it before he turns 1.
Yeah, if you're not a superhero before your first birthday, you're never going to be a superhero. I mean, it makes as much sense as 14th.
Yeah, why 14?
Because that's the age of the actor.
Maybe. I feel like 18 would make sense, but maybe that's not enough time.
Also, 18 is such a random age that we just as a society has agreed on for a lot of things, you know?
Yeah, maybe like 16? 10 would have made more sense
10 makes
to me.
sense. 15 makes sense.
14 makes 0 sense to me.
Honestly, just a random day could make sense. What is it?
Even 12 would have made sense to me.
In Halloween Town is 13, right?
Oh, was it? It was her birthday, even though it fucking wasn't. It was not her fucking birthday. I will never stop talking about this. The Disney Plus subscription was wrong. It was not Marnie's birthday. I'm pretty sure she was 13. You had to start
the Halloween Town 3 discussion coming up soon.
I'm pretty sure you had to become a witch by your 13th birthday. But that makes sense. That's like the devil's number, right? That's like Lucky 13, Black Cat shit, Halloween, motherfucker. That's
13 unlucky number. Perfectly makes sense. 14, maybe that's the superhero number. We're just unknown. Yeah.
That's 7 times 2.
All right, cut back to Evil HQ. I keep saying Evil HQ. It's just the Earth Protector's head office.
It's like a big warehouse.
Yeah, but it's just definitely evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Malcolm and Nina talk, and he's like, why? She's like, why did you go rob a bank? And he's like, we need the money to make your plans work. And she's like, well, I didn't want to rob a bank. Plus, the code only really works on kids.
Yeah. So that's why it didn't work at the bank. Duh. And he's like, well, you bought a computer for everyone. So, like, how are you going to pay for everything? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, that's why I'm here.
We need to get every kid a computer and have everyone watch. So, to make this happen, we need money.
Yeah.
Back at the house, the mom's like, I forgive you, my loving husband, for coming late to save the superhero stuff. We're fine.
Yeah, they're in love.
Yeah. The youngest daughter, her name is Molly, I think, again. I forget.
Yeah, her name's
I kept writing, like, sister, brother, mother, dad. I didn't learn their names, like, at all.
It's Molly.
Yeah. She gets in trouble for lighting a flower with her laser vision. She has her powers already.
She has lasers, which is crazy.
Use laser beams out of her eyes.
So apparently there's no rule. There's no, like, too early to have powers rule, but there is a too late to have powers rule.
You can be a late bloomer, but if you're past 14, you never blooming.
You ain't never blooming.
Yeah. It said the brother only got his powers like
a
2 weeks before his 14th birthday.
Yeah.
So I don't know what these genes are doing. So the brother gets asked to set the table, and being asked, since he's super fast, he just sets the table during the question.
He's like, boom,
it goes
done.
back to just slouching on the couch. Kind of fun.
And he's watching the news, and he's like,
hey, you're on TV.
You guys are so good at fighting.
Yeah. And he's like, man, I wonder why none of the bank tellers can remember what happened.
Oh, so I guess there's our answer why they don't recognize Malcolm. They don't even... Well, what he said was they don't know what happened. They just started giving them the money. So that's what they don't remember. They should have still recognized Malcolm's face, because right when they snapped out of it, they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And he's like, I wonder if mind control powers are being used.
And they were like, maybe. I just loved how immediately they're like, Yeah, that is a thing that is possible in this world. Because like
there's superheroes.
Superheroes exist, so of course mind control could feasibly exist.
Although no one on the evil side is a superhero, so
they're just really smart. But I just like that that's not even a hump we have to get over of like, no, mind control is impossible.
This movie is quite straightforward, actually.
It is.
In terms of, it doesn't beat around the bush. And I can appreciate that.
There's no time to. This movie, we didn't mention this. This movie is under 90 minutes.
And it feels like it. This movie is under 80 minutes.
Yeah, it's like an hour 17. It's like,
it's
very short.
And it feels like it. And it's kind of nice for that. I can appreciate it. Again, the only issue I really have with this movie is it just doesn't stick out despite having a fun theme.
Yeah.
I can't hate it more. I don't view this movie as a negative. It's just there. All right. Back to the movie. Mm-hmm. The dad goes to Scott's room and he's like, hey, son, you had a good time playing soccer. You were pretty good. And Scott's like, I kind of sucked ass, Dad.
I can't score a goal. I'm the choke king.
I'm the choke king. Dad's like, that's a bad superhero name.
Speaking of superhero names, your mom and I were talking about what super name we want to give you. I guess the parents get to like name the superhero name also. And he's like, how about the Destroyer?
He's like, what? It's better than you being the Bronze Eagle. I think that's me saying it.
It is interesting to like name your son's superhero name the Destroyer. He doesn't even have any powers yet. Like, I feel like you want it to be kind of related to your powers.
Yeah.
And also Destroyer sounds like a villain name.
Scott talks to his dad and he's like, hey, some people got their powers this late, right? Like, it could happen, right? I could just be not normal. And the dad's like, he's trying to like prepare him for the world of it might not happen, but then decides against it. He says, yeah, you know what? It has happened this late before.
Yeah. People sometimes don't get powers
like
till like
Jelly Girl.
The day before.
This movie, multiple times, they will often name check fake superheroes, but they also name drop real superheroes. Famous superheroes. I wrote a couple of them down, but I didn't write them all.
At one point, they're like, oh, we just had dinner with Spider-Man and Mary Jane.
They call it the Fantastic Four. There's a whole plot point about Superman.
Yes. So it's DC and Marvel.
And probably other ones, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an expert on superheroes. They could easily be referencing all real ones here.
Well, how are they allowed to do that?
Public domain, maybe. No.
Oh, Spider-Man
ain't in the public domain. But just you can name drop anything, you know?
Really?
They're not showing their likeness on screen.
That's true. They're just saying the name.
Yeah. And like,
I guess so.
You could show McDonald's in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
As long as it's not making a commentary about it, you're not changing the brand. It's just an existing thing. Yeah. Regardless, that is their conversation, and Scott's happy because he's like, I might be superhero after all.
Oh, thank God, I still have time.
Yeah. We get a small cutaway to Nina and Malcolm talking at Evil Headquarters, where Malcolm's like, man, we gotta stop these superheroes. Like, they're the only ones that can stop our mind control scheme to like make it happen. And Nina's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Back at the house, we see Mom and Dad talk in the kitchen when they think all the kids are away, but Scott's overhearing them with his superpower of being somewhat sneaky.
So, Mom is saying we should just cancel the party so that Scott's not embarrassed when he doesn't have any powers. And the dad's like, no, let's give it some time. Let's give it till the day before and then we'll cancel the party. And Scott's like, no. And they're like, if we see any glimpse of power at all, we won't cancel the party.
Yeah, it's like, we'll give it one day, and if he gives any glimpse of power, we'll do the party. But without that glimpse of power, we're going to be done. And Scott hears this, and rather than living his life normally, he does a badass move, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so it's like a new day.
Yeah.
And he goes to the door and he's like unscrewing the hinges.
He takes a big old power drill.
Yeah.
And he unscrews all the hinges from the door. And then extended family starts showing up because everyone's traveling in for his birthday.
It's just his grandparents.
Yeah. His grandparents show up and they're like, oh, where's Scott? And Scott's in the backyard. And Scott's like, oh, I'll come in. And he grabs the door that he just undid the hinges off and throws it away.
It comically flies backward.
It's funny.
It's funny. He's like, oh, how about that? Guess I'm super strong. And they're all like, yes, Scott, yes, you're super strong. And they're at dinner and he's like, yeah, my powers really just come and go right now. Because his brother's like, you should lift a car. You should juggle a piano.
If you're that strong. And Scott's like, I only set up one fake power. Please don't test me. Please don't test me. Meanwhile, Molly immediately is like, you don't have powers.
Yeah, Molly can sniff the bullshit.
Molly's just like, bitch, please.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real. This is where we get the grandma saying, oh, we had Spider-Man and MJ over for dinner. Mary Jane. They say hi.
They say hi.
Isn't Mary Jane not a superhero?
She's Spider-Man's girlfriend.
Yeah. Doesn't most of the time Mary Jane not know he's Spider-Man?
No, she knows he's Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure.
I guess he could also just be in costume the whole time. I don't know the Spider-Man
I'm pretty sure
lore.
like every time she knows that he's Spider-Man. At least all of the recent media and movies of Spider-Man, she knows. She knew in Spider-Verse. She knew in the Tobey Maguire movies. She knows in the Marvel movies.
Fair enough. I'm not a Spider-Man expert. What about the video game?
She knows in the video game too.
Dang, wow.
So yeah, I think she knows.
What about the comics?
I don't know.
Ooh,
she probably does though. She probably does.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Scott like fumbles over his words and says, yeah, like, oh, I can fly too. I was flying earlier. And everyone's like, wow, you can fly? That's amazing. And the mom's like, I can't even fly.
Yeah, and she's Warrior Woman.
Yeah.
She can't even fly. By the way, Warrior Woman, that's a stupid superhero name.
Yeah, Woman Warrior's better. Yeah, they're bad names that they give them.
Yeah.
So we get to see Scott have to pretend to fly.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, we need to see you flying.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I'll go outside. And
I'll figure out how to fly.
I'll figure it out. And meanwhile, the grandpa complains about Superman and how he's the man of steel.
And he stole that from the Steel Condor, which is who he is.
Yeah. Which I could have sworn he said Steel Eagle, but it's Bronze Eagle and Steel Condor.
Yeah. Beautiful. So now Scott goes into the backyard. He's like, well, I gotta pretend like I'm gonna fly. And
this is the funniest part to me.
This is very good. He just says, hey, everyone, I'm about to fly. Everyone's still in the dining room. They're not watching or anything.
They're still just talking amongst themselves. He's like, okay, I'm ready. Up and away. And then he throws the soccer ball into the trees. And then the mom goes, oh, no, he hit a tree.
And everyone runs out and looks in the sky like, did he make it? Where is he? Huh?
He must be flying. And meanwhile, Scott is just literally right around the corner, just standing there, like feeling ashamed.
He's just sitting there like, I'm lying to my family.
And they're like, oh my God, he must be in the air somewhere.
Oh no, but landing so hard.
Yeah, the mom's like, go up and get him, honey. And the dad's like, all right, I'm going to go get him. And then Scott comes around the corner and he's like, whoa, I just landed.
That was crazy. I was flying, but I'm on the ground now.
And they're like, oh my gosh, Scott, that was amazing. And Molly's like,
Sus.
Yeah.
Not true.
Fake news.
Grandpa's like, hey, I got some tips for flying. I'm pulling you aside here. Everyone else go in there. I'm like, wow, you can fly. And the grandpa pulls him aside and says, you're fucking lying.
You're lying, I can tell. And Scott's like, yeah, I'm lying. And the grandpa's like, you can't keep lying to your parents. They're going to find out eventually. And Scott's like, I'm only going to lie until the party's over so that they're not disappointed. We can have a cool party. And then I'll tell them the truth.
Yeah, all he wants to have is a party.
This is going to be more embarrassing for them to have all of their friends over celebrating the kid. And then they find out like a month later he doesn't have powers.
Yeah, but from kid logic, it might be different.
Kid logic's dumb, but he is 14. So.
Yeah. But Somehow, Grandpa agrees to all this. They say I love you to each other, which I think is a little sweet. We don't get that enough in DCOMs where it's just family members saying I love you.
Yeah. I guess so.
It happens shockingly rarely. Alright, so it's the next day. We get this movie kind of just flies by. And Dad meets Scott in his room and said, hey, Scott, you know, flying's a privilege. If you don't have a B+ average, you can't fly. I'll take your flying rights away.
Yeah, and I thought this was going to start a plot point where Scott starts tanking his grades and not doing his brainwashing homework, and that's how he avoids it. Wrong.
Yeah, because I feel like that's an easy way to get out of flying, but whatever.
I know. He could be like, oh, if I just am shit at school, I won't have to pretend to have superpowers anymore. But no, that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah. So Scott's like, well, I got one more assignment to do today. With all the excitement of yesterday, I forgot to do it. It's my Earth Protectors assignment.
On my computer that they provided for me.
Click. And he turns it on, and suddenly he's slackjaw staring at the screen. Ooh. And it's just like, Earth Protectors, listen to us, do what we say. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's just staring at it till his dad shakes him out of it.
He's like, how are you just staring at your screen?
It's like you're mesmerized.
Huh. That's funny. Oh, well.
Yeah. So the dad's concerned about it. And then the dad goes downstairs and he's like, hey, son, other son, not Scott, Adam. What you doing? And he's like, I'm watching TV. You guys remember the bank robbers? They all just escaped prison.
What the heck? That was weird. Oh, did we gloss over the part where they were hacking into the prison system? I think we did. The bad guys did hack into the prison system. That was something that was shown.
Yeah. And they're like, the dad's like, was it another computer malfunction? Adam's like, yeah.
Yeah. How do you know?
And the dad, who is immediately suspicious about this, like, screens and everything that's going on, is not going to follow this plot for a while.
He's like, I had a hunch. It's because he was just watching Scott be like mesmerized by a screen and how they're talking about maybe mind control earlier at the bank. He does not put this together, though, that it's the same thing, which I guess why would he think that his son's homework is the thing?
It really doesn't have much relation.
Yeah.
But when it comes up later as a connection, he should think back to this moment.
Yeah, well, he doesn't because he just is angry, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. So they're like, well, let's go ask the bank about this. Maybe they still have that software on their computers, and that will explain everything.
This part is so stupid. This part makes me mad. All right, so they go to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm very excited. He never gets to be a part of these missions.
Yeah, so it's, Bronze Eagle and his son, Quicksilver, whatever. No, it's not.
That's a real one.
What's his name? I put it up in the notes.
Mm-hmm. Silver Charge. That's so bad.
That's basically Quicksilver, and he is very fast. But remember, he also has electricity powers. Apparently, you just get like 2 powers
Seems
at
like
least per superhero. It makes no sense. So they go there. They go to the bank, and they're like, we are here to investigate. Can we look at one of your computers? And they're like, yeah. And then Adam, that's his name, right? The brother?
Yeah.
Silver Charge. He's like, all right, I'm going to zap it. And he fucking zaps the computer. And then it's broken, and all of the data on it is wiped. Like, why wouldn't they just type on the computer and look at it?
They don't know how to program.
What is him zapping the computer gonna do at all? I thought maybe he was, like, reading the code or something. Like, no, he just fries the computer. And later they're like, oh, we would have had evidence if he didn't fry the computer. Well, why didn't you tell him to do that? What was the plan? It's so dumb.
It's pretty dumb. Yeah, I got no explanation for that. They really just don't get how computers work, apparently.
No.
Whatever. So, cut back to the school, Scott's school, the only school. Every kid in there is wearing blue.
Every kid is wearing blue. Except for, like, one kid's like, I didn't do my homework, and he's wearing red.
Again, pretty fun, pretty funny. And Nina is watching outside the, like, school. It's like, wow. This is working. It's actually working.
Yes.
Everyone's wearing blue.
She's like, what should we have them do first? Should we teach them how to recycle or have them compost? Like, her plan is to brainwash children into, like, recycling and stuff to save the planet.
Yeah.
It's for good.
She is chaotic good / neutral in terms of she is doing a morally apprehensible thing of brainwashing to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
It's an interesting little plot point. It's like slowly revealed basically the whole time that she's not nearly as evil as Malcolm.
No,
because Malcolm wants just world domination.
She just wants to save the planet.
Yeah. So Adam, the brother, Silver Charge, he shows up to investigate. He's like, why is everyone wearing blue? That's kind of weird.
And he asks Scott about it, and Scott's like, I don't know, a coincidence?
Yeah. And it's like, Meanwhile, there's a bunch of kids playing catch with an aluminum foil ball.
They grab some aluminum foil from their lunch, and they roll up to a ball, and they're like, hey, Scott, catch. And he's about to catch it, and then Adam catches it instead, and he's like,
oh, my arm.
Oh, my arm.
While he's still holding it.
And Scott goes, what the heck? Why'd you catch it? Now they're going to think I can't catch.
Scott's so true.
And then he's like, he drops it, and he's like, Scott, you need to be more careful. This is the one thing that drains our powers.
And now that you have powers, like, you have to be real careful about it. I think Scott's superpower is he can touch tinfoil.
That's a pretty cool power. Now, he just goes with them in case they get trapped in tinfoil, and then he can touch it.
Exactly.
It's pretty sick, actually. I think he is a valuable part of the team. And he's just like, I forgot. Like, I love immediately, though, that he forgot even as Adam caught it that he's supposed to pretend to have powers.
Yeah.
He's just like, what the heck? You're making me look stupid.
Yeah. So that's a whole scene that's happening there. Meanwhile, Malcolm goes over to that same schoolyard and he's like, hey, evil goon that definitely has a name that I never wrote down a single time. You're with me as being just like the pure evil buff guy. Let's watch this happen. I added a little extra something to the wear blue code. And then the clock hits a certain time and everyone's like, I want chocolate. And everyone goes and tries to buy chocolate. And Malcolm's super happy about this. He's like, my desires are much more simple than Nina. I just want money.
I literally just want money and to take over the world. It's like, look at them eat chocolate, those little fucking idiots.
I made them do that.
I made them do that, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Malcolm's whole plan. It's pretty clear who's the most evil one here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So then we get the TV and like Bronze Eagle, Warrior Woman, and Silver Charge are all like giving a press conference. And they're like, don't worry, there's evil mind control going on, but we have antivirus shit that's gonna take care of it.
We've already programmed a solution. Yeah. We're just distributing it.
So he literally knows about mind control, and then we'll talk about it later, but it makes me so mad he doesn't acknowledge that like the mind control is happening.
Yeah.
And Nina's like, oh no, they're gonna stop us. And Malcolm's like, well, we gotta stop them first.
Yeah. Malcolm's like, we can beat literal superheroes. No problem.
Yeah.
Malcolm's very confident.
It also turns out that the superheroes were lying about the antivirus thing. They're like, we're just trying to buy some time.
Program that. Yeah.
We're just lying to the public and pretending like we're taking care of it.
Fair enough.
Is it fair? I don't think it's actually fair.
It helps protect against something and it keeps people on the eye out for mind control.
No, it's going to make them feel like it's already taken care of.
Yeah, but maybe then a non-panicking society is good.
I don't know. What they should do is tell everyone to not use their technology, even though that's not going to work because society is going to use their technology anyway.
Yeah, but this is also in the year 2000. People didn't have as much technology.
That's true. Not everybody has a computer.
Yeah, except all these kids who got free computers.
Which is crazy.
So yeah. Cut back to the family where they're all going outside and they're like, hey, Scott, you should practice flying. And Scott's like, hard pass. But they're like, no, we're going to do this. And even if you don't want to fly, I'm going to make you fly.
Well, at first he's like, so you can't practice during the day because people will see you. You have to practice at night. However, you can just fly during the day. And he grabs it, which is like totally counterintuitive what he said. He's like, you can't practice your takeoff, but you can just fly around if you want. And he scoops Scott up and they go and fly and they're up in the air and Scott's like, oh my god, I'm flying, but you're not gonna drop me, are you? And he's like, not without a warning.
This is your warning. Goodbye.
drop. And then Scott, he said you don't see him fall, you just hear him yelling. And he's going, oh, Dad, I'm falling. Dad, I'm down here, Dad. Dad, catch me later.
He was having a great time flying because he's never flown before.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well, that's unfortunate. I can't actually fly. But he doesn't say that. Instead, Dad has to go save him. And then they show up to the soccer game late. And Amy is like, oh, Scott, you're late. I was worried about you.
But I don't like you. And then the dad's like, it's so weird how his powers come and go. Like, well, I guess he's just excited about his birthday.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
That makes sense.
Sure. We gotta figure that out. Back at evil headquarters. Malcolm and his unnamed goon, they talk about their evil plan. They're like, man, we're gonna have 20 million kids following us. And we'll also, if everything goes right, have a couple of superheroes in that mix too.
Which I don't get it because it's not supposed to work on adults.
I don't get it either.
And they're like, only Nina could stop us. But she's so stupid.
Yeah, Nina can't figure this out. Yeah. Now we get to the birthday party. No preamble before that. It's time for the birthday party. And everyone is there. All your famous superheroes, except no one that you've ever seen before.
There's a guy that can stretch his arm and some like ghost looking ones.
There's so many costumes. There's like 50 people at this party, all in unique costumes. This is
fun.
where the budget went.
Yeah, the costumes.
Because there's genuinely like not even that bad of costumes. Better than the main cast costumes.
Yeah. They're the only black ones. Is that weird to say? They're like the only black family in this community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
So Scott talks to his grandpa and he's like, well, you could just tell your dad that you're not a superhero. And Scott's like, well, it's hard, but maybe I will tell him. But I'm going to go through with the plan, at least for now. And his dad introduces Warrior Eagle.
That's the name they're giving him, which is so dumb. That's just the parents' superhero names put together.
Why didn't Silvercharge get that name?
Because he's quick. Because he has little electricity.
You know who else is quick? Warrior Woman.
Warrior Woman, Bronze Eagle, and this is our second born son, Warrior Eagle.
So cool.
It's so stupid. Oh, Scott's in a little superhero uniform too.
So Scott is like starting to have guilt about his lie and everything, but they're like, okay, everyone has to do the superhero oath. And everybody in the room raises their right hand. It's like, I am a superhero. I promise not to harm people. And I'm going to save people, use my powers for good. And Scott's like, Dad, I have something to tell you. And
he's
Dad's like, yeah,
son.
What you're supposed to say is, I do.
I do. It is. He shouldn't be saying this during the oath. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't take the oath if I don't have superpowers. Of course you can. Just say I do. It's fake anyway.
Yeah.
You think the superheroes really care about this stupid little oath?
Maybe they do.
Maybe Spider-Man's like, but I took an oath.
Yeah. Yeah. So Scott tries to tell his dad, but he doesn't. He doesn't get it out. He says, I do. And he's a superhero now. Meanwhile, we got back to the evil headquarters. Malcolm decides, hey, we got to find a way to track the superheroes.
Yeah.
This is the only way this is going to work. I'm going to hand you like a little tracker.
Yeah, here's a little tracker and you just like put it on Bronze Eagle somehow when he comes by. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And he presses the little tracker and it goes beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. And like, yeah, and it's flashing. Like, that's not going to be the most obvious fucking thing in the world to Bronze Eagle. He's going to be like, what's beeping on me? And how is she supposed to just get it on him? Is he going to just hand it to him? Here you go. Shove it in his pants? How is this going to work? And did he tell her how he's planning on getting Bronze Eagle there?
I sure hope so. Otherwise, this really seems like a fail of a plan.
I don't think she consented to this. Because he walks out with his goon and he's like, all right. Boop. Blows up the building. And then the van drives away and you see the building on fire.
Okay, yeah, no, this scene's incredible. So he's just like, okay, goon, one of two things is gonna happen. Either we're gonna track the superhero, or Nina's dead. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Beep, behind the van, which is blocking the view, there's a big explosion. And then we see the same set as before, but with some fires lazily edited in.
You don't see any kind of explosion. You just see the aftermath of an explosion.
I love it.
They're blowing up their own building.
Yep.
Where all of their technology is.
It's like an empty warehouse at the same time.
Yeah, but all that happens is like some parts of it are on fire. And I
guess honestly, they're talking about, oh, this building's burning down and there's a woman inside. But like, it really seems fine. It does not seem much of danger. I don't know. Maybe Malcolm calls the police and says Nina's still in there.
He didn't seem to care as he drove away, but yeah. And then everyone gets their little pager beep.
Yeah, everybody in the party gets like paged and it says beep beep. Hey,
a building's
on fire. And it's kind of funny because like everyone gets at the same time. It's like, I should probably take this. Well, I should probably take this. And everyone starts arguing of who gets to go save them. And somebody has the great idea of, hey, this is, like, saving someone from a burning building. That's like day one stuff. Give it to the youngest kid. Give it to Scott.
Oh, it's so dumb. They really shouldn't let him do this unsupervised.
Scott's like, please no, I don't want to do it. And everyone's like, nah, you're going to do it. You got this, Scott. We believe in you. The grandpa, meanwhile, at this time, the one guy who knows the secret is out playing dolls with Molly. So he
he's
misses
not there
this
to stop it.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I guess I'll go fly off and save her.
Up and away, grab
him mentally being like, she might just die.
Scott might also die.
Yeah.
This is the point where he should say, I was lying.
He was trying to earlier.
Or he should just really say, like, I am not ready to do this.
Whatever. So he does the soccer ball trick again. It works flawlessly again. It doesn't make sense and I love it.
Throw a soccer ball in a tree. Oh my god, he must be up there
all
somewhere.
The superheroes looking are like, where is he? We should be able to see him in the sky. That's a bird. That's a helicopter. Oh man, he must have gotten out of our vision.
He's so fast.
Yeah. So instead, Scott just bikes all the way to the burning building.
It must not be very far.
No.
Yeah, he just bikes there and he's like, all right, guess I have to do this shit.
We see inside Nina's choking on the smoke.
And she's like, help me.
And then we see the burning building on the TV. Like, they got live footage of everything. And so all the superheroes are watching it as well. And we see firefighters.
Yeah, they're just kind of standing outside of the building.
They're not going in to help. They're not doing anything. They're like, man, a superhero should probably do this.
Which is so dumb. But like, what are you even here for at all? And then Scott just shows up in his little superhero outfit and he just kind of starts like sidestep dodges them. Like, oh, you can't get me. And they kind of chase him around in a circle for a little bit.
And then they just ultimately let him run into the building. Well, he just runs out.
Like, they literally run in a circle like 5 times. And everyone that's watching the TV is like, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he running in a circle? Why is he not just
flying in?
Yeah, he should just fly in. And then he just runs into the building. And the firefighters are like, well, a kid just ran into the building. Like, and they're not doing anything about it. And then Scott just shows up and he's like, hey, Nina, I'm Warrior Eagle. I'm here to save you. And she's like, you're a superhero?
It's like, man, you not even believe in it? Yes, I am. Let's get out of here. Let's climb this ladder.
Yeah, come on, let's climb this ladder. We need to find a hose. I guess there's a hose in this building. He just knows about it. And she's like, shouldn't we just fly out? And he goes, you can fly? That's great.
We should totally use that.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's a good moment of just like, oh my god, you can fly. No.
Can't you fly? No. So they just keep going and he finds a hose, but there's no water connected to it. So then they just kind of climb out into the roof and he grabs the hose and he's like, we're going to use the hose to propel down.
Yeah.
But it's not very stable. Except that he's like, let's go at the same time to put double the weight on it.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. And then they're just dangling from the roof.
So while this is all happening, the grandpa finally comes in from playing dolls and he sees the TV and he's like, Scott's there? Uh-oh. And off screen he tells everyone, hey, he doesn't have powers.
Yeah, you need to go save your son right now.
So they're rappelling down the building and the fire hose breaks, but as they're falling to their imminent doom, Bronze Eagle swoops in and saves them.
Also, Scott's mask fell off.
Scott's eye mask. falls off his face so everyone can see his face, but no one actually sees it.
Yes, and then the dad puts him down and he's like, what are you doing? Let's go home. And they leave, and then Nina grabs the mask that fell down. So she just saw Scott's face.
She did not put the tracker on anyone.
No, we just totally dropped that as a plot point. They don't even mention the tracker. She just grabbed the mask. And so then at home, Scott's parents are arguing because, like, are they yelling at him?
Yeah, they're very disappointed in him because he was lying to them and put himself in danger and put Nina in real danger.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have sent him there, is my opinion, but that's true. He shouldn't have lied.
Yeah. So Scott's sad, and
they're like, should we go erase the mind of the girl he saved? Because the brother can just do that with his little electricity powers, like, I guess. And the dad's like, no, it's okay. She was the only one that saw him, and all she has is the mask.
There's no way a mask can be traced.
You know, she saw his face.
Yeah, like, but that part's just conveniently ignored.
Whatever. And then Nina shows Malcolm the mask, and they're like, yes, this is perfect.
Sure.
It's literally just like your generic eye mask thing without any straps. So how does it stay on their face? No wonder it fell off. How do those stay on? It's because it's perfectly molded to his face, and it only fits him.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So it's the next day. They're car riding to school, and Randy, Amy, and some other kid that's in this car.
There's a random kid?
Yeah, there's 4 kids in the car.
What?
They're all just getting run to school, and they're all making fun of Scott, but just the kid they saw on TV, they're like, man, who was that kid that thought he was a superhero? Yeah, that was very brave and went in and saved the lady. But they're all just making fun of him. Mm-hmm. I feel like they're underrating his success, but whatever. And Scott's like, hey, maybe that person just should have powers, but didn't. I mean, haha, what a stupid idiot.
Yeah, haha.
Totally nailed it. At school, they each get a new disc from the Earth Protectors crew. That's the evil corporation. Yeah. And they're like, okay, go home and watch this. At home, we just fly through these days.
Yeah.
Scott goes and he tears up all his old Bronze Eagle stuff and all his superhero stuff.
I don't care about being a superhero anymore.
And the grandpa comes and says, now, it's not your dad's fault that you don't have powers.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the grandpa's like, just gives him general good advice. It's like, hey, it's not the cape that makes him a hero. Yeah. Which is kind of dumb because the cape doesn't give him powers.
Yeah, I wish they would elaborate more.
If you said it's not his superpowers that make him a hero.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah. But that's not what happens. All right. So now it's time for the kids to watch their government mandated mind control. Yay. Earth Protectors disc. All of the kids watch it. We see them all go slack-jawed and just get mind controlled and everything. And then the next day, all of the kids, Amy, Randy, Scott, are stealing money from people's wallets.
Yep, and they're putting them in their bag.
All the cash. And we get to see Scott's family. They're making lunches and everything, and they're realizing, hey, I don't have any money in my wallet.
Yeah, did you borrow money from me? Did you take money from my wallet? No. And then Scott's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to school. And Molly's like, hold the fuck on. Won't use
I have x-ray vision. This was never elaborated on.
She's like, with my x-ray vision, I just saw into your backpack and you have money in there. And so they look and they take out the money. And he's like, what the hell? I don't even remember putting that in there. I didn't steal it. They're like, you stole money now? What the hell, Scott? That's it. No soccer for a month. And he's like, what?
That's a beautiful, like, post-school activity.
But they're going to vote for captain.
This is a dumb little side plot. I don't care about the captain race.
And they're like, too bad.
You're just going to have to be bad.
And then we get the villains going through the database of children. And they have, like, a little picture of the mask that they, like, scanned. And then it goes through. We gotta find the kid
with the perfect fit. We have a database of every kid.
Of every kid's face, which it's probably through the school. And then somehow the computer...
I don't think it was through the school. I think it was every kid, period. Like in America.
No way. It just has to be in the town. And they go through every kid, and the computer program can tell if the mask fits their face. This is so stupid. She knows it was a black kid. There's only one black family in the whole fucking community.
True.
So, and she saw his face. She just looked through the pictures and be like, oh, it was him.
Yeah. It'd be pretty easy. But they're like, well, we found him because of this mask.
Oh, yeah, it's a perfect fit in our computer program. This generic fucking mask and this kid. Oh, it's perfect fit. So they're like, we got him.
Yeah. So... everyone that all's happened, they figured out that it is Scott that's doing the stuff. Meanwhile, all of the kids at the school walk around with their money. And they're like, man, how did your family catch you stealing money? That's weird. How did that get in there? Oh, hi, Earth Protectors. Here's an envelope full of cash.
Full of money. And like, did Scott not see him hand over money? He's like, that's so weird that you like got caught with money.
Scott's not the brightest.
Which, I mean, the whole thing is that they're not supposed to know what they're doing. So they just hand cash. And the teacher goes over to the guy and he's like, I can't even get them to turn in their homework. You're going to have to tell me your secret. And he's like, haha, yeah. And then he looks in the envelope and there's money. And he's like, little do they know that they stole money from me.
So Scott gets called to the principal office because the whole database of kids, and he got pulled and they're like, hey, Earth Protector's got a very special program for you. Scott's like, oh boy, that's great. I'm going to sit down and watch this. And he clicks play and he goes slackjaw because it's mind control again. What?
Yeah. And then when he comes out,
Malcolm comes out and is just like, hey, you're going to tell me everything about your family.
Oh, so that's how he gets all the intel.
Yeah.
About like the tinfoil and shit. And then Scott comes out. And he's like, that was weird. What'd that take, like 15 minutes? And Randy's like, you were gone for 2 hours.
Yeah, you missed PE and math. I would be doing a happy dance right now.
Yeah, that's so sick nasty.
And Scott's like, hold the phone.
That's so weird.
I'm actually starting to put stuff together now.
So then in class, the teacher's like, here's your homework. Here's your little disc of homework from Earth Protectors. Oh, by the way, Scott, you get a very specific special
I got
disc.
told you get to hand this one.
Why is she not suspicious of this?
She probably got mind control too. I don't know.
Why Scott?
Why Scott? Because he was the one who got called earlier in that day, so that could be a reason. Everyone knows that.
And no one was suspicious of this? Is no one protecting these children in this school?
No. Blame the teachers. They let this program of uncredited educators come just because they paid every kid a computer.
What did kids even do with the computer other than get mind controlled? Doesn't
seem like much.
They play Minesweeper?
They play Minecraft.
Not yet. It's only 2000.
Yeah. So Scott pieces everything together more or less because looks outside and he sees Nina, the girl he saved.
He's like,
out with the Earth Protectors van.
Yeah.
And he's starting to be like, this is the mind control. I get this. So he starts running out of the class, but he bumps into Amy. And in a classic Stuck in the Suburbs twist, they accidentally trade what they were holding.
The discs.
The discs.
Oh my gosh, now Amy has a super special disc and Scott has a regular disc. So then he goes home and he's like, parents, it's mind control. It's this program, let me tell ya. And they're like, no fucking way is it mind control. Are you kidding me? Even though they know about the mind control thing.
Yep.
They're like, no way it could be this company that's giving homework to the children who are like stealing money.
Who they paid to give a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, what about when everybody was wearing blue? And they're like, that was a coincidence. That was crazy.
It is dumb how much they're doubting it. And he's like, and what about the money? They're like, that's what you're just trying to get out of the money.
He's trying to get out of stealing the money. And he's like, no, I will show you. They wanted me to do this assignment with my parents. Like they specifically said, do the assignment with your parents. And so he's like, let's watch it. And they're like, okay. So he puts in the disc. And it's like Earth Protectors, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, it's a worm.
Hey guys, I'm CGI Worm here. Let's talk about composting.
Composting? Composting?
Yeah. I felt like he said composting.
Composting. And they're like, Scott, you're a liar. And then they like leave, even though they're supposed to do the homework with him.
Yeah. I would like to say that Earth Protectors got very lucky that the first thing that was only supposed to be like the first thing they've given that's not mind control just was fine.
Yeah. By the way, when they were getting ready to watch it, they like got in there's like superhero stances, and it makes sense for Adam because he can like shock the computer,
which is important if it's gonna like take them over.
Yeah, but the parents got like in a fighting stance as if they're gonna like fucking punch the computer if they start getting mind controlled or something, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, that probably makes you think, man, if that wasn't the real one, what was gonna happen to Scott's disc? Well, back at Amy's house, Amy's mom gets brainwashed.
And the way they don't even show Amy, they have an off-screen voice going, "Mom, you have to do the homework with me." And then it just shows her mom going boop, 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 click. And then she's watching it and she's like, like, where was Amy?
So then the next day, she just goes in her station wagon to a bank and she says, "This is a holdup."
She walks in with her like bag and she's like, "Attention, everybody. This is a holdup." And then she holds up her bag as if there's a gun inside of it. And everyone just immediately puts their hands up. They're like, "Oh my God, you're right." Like, they don't check.
This suburban mom is definitely robbing this bank right now.
Yeah.
This one bank that has already been robbed.
This poor bank. It's the only bank in town. And then at school, they're handing back the disc to the teacher. And the teacher's like, "Scott, this isn't the very special disc that I gave only to you. This is a regular disc. What happened to it?" And he's like, "I thought this was the disc I had."
I was so close to getting everything right. And then Randy shows up and is like, "Hey, man, did you hear Amy's mom robbed a bank?"
That's crazy. And Scott's like, "Oh my God, because we ran into each other and I had a special disc. Oh my God, we have to leave right now. Oh, I'm sick." Because the teacher's
this
like,
is so dumb. They could just ditch class.
Well, they were trying to leave, and the teacher's like, "Where are you going?" And they're like, "We're sick," and then they run away. And the teacher's like, "Dang it."
The teacher does nothing.
No, she's like, "Scott, no."
So Scott goes and calls his grandpa.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yes, it was an evil plan."
Yes, this all makes sense. So the grandpa's like, "Well, all of the other ones went to the Earth Protectors lobby just to like investigate anyways. I don't."
What? All the other superheroes?
The family.
The family. Yeah, I thought you meant every superhero ever.
No.
Yeah, so all the family, they got like paged to the warehouse, didn't they?
Yeah. They're like, that seems like a trap. Grandpa's like, "Well, yeah, I guess I'll need backup. So I'm going to go and provide that." The grandma, who's just only on screen for a couple lines, goes like, "Maybe they should call Superman instead." And Grandpa gets pissed because like, "That, you stole from me. I'm going to go fly away." And he takes off, runs into a fence, but he gets in the air.
Yeah.
And he's flying through the sky.
Yeah, so then the parents and Adam show up to the warehouse, and they're like, "Well, guess we're here. Maybe Scott was right. Let's walk inside anyway." And they go inside, and they're like, "This seems kind of suspicious." And then they walk right into an aluminum foil cage.
Big mistake by them.
Clearly this was a fucking trap. Like,
they're just dumb.
They're so stupid. So they can't get out because it's aluminum foil. And they also have Amy's mom who just showed up because it was supposed to be the parents that showed up.
Yeah, the parents that were supposed to be superheroes were going to show up. But it turned out to be Amy's mom because she was the one who actually got brainwashed.
Which apparently now the mind control works on adults. Remember when they said it only works on children? Why did they just drop that as a plot?
I don't know. That's a good point.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So then they're like, "What are you doing, you criminals?" And Nina's like, No, we're not criminals. We just want to make the world a better place."
Malcolm's just like, "Shut up, nerd."
"Shut up, Nina. We are evil."
"We're doing this to take over the world." And he was like, "What?
Huh? No, I should have known. I should have known when you wore leather and threw away that wrapper on the ground. I should have known you didn't care about recycling."
Nina's like, "Man, I should have known when you wore a leather belt that you said was from a cow that died of natural consequences."
You were lying to me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Scott's recruiting Amy and Randy to join his team because all the kids that are characters have to join.
Yeah, he's like, remember the superhero kid we're making fun of? That was me. My parents are superheroes and we need to go save them.
Yeah, also your mom robbed a bank because of mind control. Let's go save her. And they all go, okay. And whatever. You're trying to get to the final plot. You're like, we only got 10 minutes left in this film anyways. Let's just get it done with.
And then Nina, this is when she confronts him and she's like, you drank out of styrofoam and you ate beef jerky.
Yeah. You're also missing the scene where Steel Condor, the grandpa, is flying to get there, but he's going slower than the traffic below him.
That was funny.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna show up like at all because he flies so slow. He's flying
slower than a car.
He's going like maybe 25 miles per hour. Like,
which is pretty funny to just be flying like that.
With the kid's bike there, though. But maybe he started further away.
Yeah, the school could be right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Malcolm is just taunting them. Nina's like, hey, you're kind of evil, you know? And then she steals the disc back from him, but then the evil goon just steals it right back. It's just a minor little thing. And they take Nina away. Like, go, like, take care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She then later shows up with no issue, but we'll get to that.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
They don't do. Yeah, but Malcolm.
This is what I'm talking about. Like the climax, it's just kind of little stuff happening. Along. Yeah. They try a couple different things, and it just kind of stumbles.
I do want to say, though, when they're booking up Nina and taking her away, they said, maybe we'll recycle her later, which is pretty good.
That was a good burn.
Yeah, let's go. So the kids arrive at the headquarters.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, man, this is my mom's sick-ass motorcycle.
And Randy's like, what the fuck? A sick-ass motorcycle? And then Amy's like, that's my mom's station wagon. He's like, oh, thank God, I'm not the only poor kid.
Yeah. So they all storm the headquarters. I mean, Randy doesn't want to, but they're like, we got to do it. Because whenever you have a trio like this, someone's got to be like, I don't want to do it. And the rest are like, we got to be brave. So they sneak around the boxes and everything. And they see Scott's family. They see them all trapped in the aluminum foil.
Yeah.
And they're all of them. This is where he actually says, yeah, my parents are superheroes. And they're all like,
she was like saying that before.
Well, it was obvious, but Randy didn't know about it because he has a whole reaction scene here.
Yeah, it was just so dumb. And Amy and Scott like flirt with each other.
They flirt by making fun of each other's soccer skills.
Yeah, she's like, I should have known you weren't a superhero because you can't score a goal.
Yeah, and they're like, here's a plan to save everyone. We'll say it off screen because it's going to work.
Yeah.
Malcolm starts preparing a training video for the superheroes. It's going to teach them evil ways.
It's going to mind control them.
Yes. The superheroes are getting very sleepy. Their sanity is going downhill.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the kids are like, pow, 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 guns. But it's just bubble wrap.
Yeah, they're jumping on bubble wrap, but it sounds like guns. Pretty smart.
Yeah.
And the goons are all like, we got to go take care of these kids. Like, they're actually an imminent threat to us.
Yeah, so they start running all over the place, and it's very, like, Home Alone.
Yeah.
Trip them.
It feels like they wanted a big scene of this, but they only could get a few budget, like,
it's
goofs
pretty funny.
In here.
They, like, clothesline them a couple times. It's pretty funny, and, like, just knock shit over on them. And then they're surrounded, and Randy's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm a superhero. You want some of this?
I'm the Randinator.
Yeah, you want some of this? And then they kind of hold out tinfoil, and he's like, I ate this for breakfast. And he bites the tinfoil, and then he goes, ow, my filling. And then they capture him.
Pretty lame.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that leaves just Scott because Amy got trapped at some point. I don't remember exactly.
They just grab her immediately. And then all of a sudden, Nina shows up. Remember when she was locked up?
She's like, I got you now. Hey, Scott, play along.
Play along, Scott. Sorry, Scott. I know this tinfoil hurts you. And he's like,
oh, tinfoil.
And she's like, play along. And then she's over to Malcolm and she's like, well, you didn't think you were going to get rich without me, right? Because this is my program. I just figured if when I become rich, I'll just buy this stupid rainforest.
No. And Malcolm's like I underestimated you.
I underestimated you. And she's like, haha, yeah, let's do this. Starts typing and then like hits eject on the computer. And
the disc pops out.
And it says, downloading stopped. And he's like, whoa, what's happening? And she's like, I don't know, that's so weird. Grabs disc, puts in new disc. Wait, no, see, it's working again. Downloading continued.
Malcolm buys it.
And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the goon is like, I think you want this disc.
The goon's the only smart one in this movie.
And then he's like, caught you. And then Nina's like, you won't get away with this. And they holler away again. Like, it was so pointless. Her whole plan was, boop, new disc. Oh, yep, I'm on your side, though.
They just had to prove that Nina would risk it all to be good. So
what was her plan? Because then they made it seem like, oh, we're both going to pretend that we're on their side or capture whatever.
Well, then, like, it would probably be like, hey, break through the tinfoil even though you're weak to it.
It, like, doesn't work at all. And then it's 3 minutes until the brainwash happens. I love that, like, it's a countdown to when they're brainwashed. They're not, like, partially brainwashed along the way. It's like, are you brainwashed or are you not brainwashed?
Yeah.
It happens in 3 minutes.
Yep. Because they gotta download the whole program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amy's like, man, we gotta do something. They're all trapped nearby.
So they're just like holding the kids, kind of like the goons are. And she just has her backpack in her hand. And she takes the soccer ball out of the bag and puts it on the ground.
How is this possible?
I don't know. She puts it on the ground and she like kicks it over to Scott. And Scott's like, all right, breaks out of the tinfoil because it wasn't holding him back. And he starts dribbling the soccer ball. And all the goons are like, all right, guess we're playing soccer now. They don't tackle him or nothing. They're like, we got to play soccer.
We gotta play by the rules.
Get the soccer ball. Get the soccer ball. And then
so dumb.
And then he's like dribbling around. And he kicks the soccer ball into the computer. And it
as the clock hits 0. And guess what? That breaks the computer.
Yeah.
Then Nina just runs and opens the cage.
Yep. And she's
and
like,
then the
I'm free again.
Come out and they're like, cool, we'll beat everyone up.
Why weren't the goons stopping them? Well, how did Nina get free again?
We don't know.
So then, yeah, they just beat up the goons.
Notably, they beat them all up off screen.
Oh, yeah, because they both walk out and the Warrior Woman's like, I got this. And then you just see Bronze Eagle, like, next to Malcolm or whatever, and he goes, that's my wife. Oh, look at her beat those guys up. We don't get to see it.
Yeah. So all the evil goons are taken care of, and they're like, hey, Nina, thanks for saving us, but you also still kind of did an evil thing. So Nina said, yeah, don't arrest me. I'm just going to go back to saving the world one bag of garbage at a time. Yeah, she's like, please destroy all the discs for me. I'm sorry. And then they erase her memory. So it's all okay. She won't remember that she did this. She just is a good person that likes to recycle. Okay, so then he wipes Nina's memory. He's like wiping all their memories. And then Amy comes up and she's like, Scott, I like you and I want to go to the dance with you. And he's like, oh my God, I want to go to the dance with you. I wanted to ask, but I didn't think you liked me.
Oh my God, I didn't think you liked me. Haha. And then Adam just comes over and he's like, yep. Erases memory.
Just right in front of her.
And Scott's like, no! Like, what are you doing? What if she doesn't remember that she liked me? And she said specifically, I liked you the whole time. So the mom's like, well, she liked you before, then it shouldn't matter, right? And Scott's like, dang it. And then they're about to erase Randy's memory. And he's like, wait, no, please. I promise I won't tell anyone. This is like the coolest thing ever. I don't want my memory wiped. And
they just say, okay.
The parents are like, well, guess Scott's going to want someone to talk to about all of this because he's a fucking normal little dweeb. So sure, Randy, you can keep your memory. And they just let it happen. Like, what about Amy? That's going to be his girlfriend. Now she doesn't remember that they admitted that they liked each other. Like, it's so sad. Well, you get to do it again. It's so sad.
Yeah, no, it's really dumb. And
then the grandpa finally shows up.
Yeah, he bursts through a wall. He's like, I'm here to save everyone. Damn it.
Yeah, they're like, you're too late, man. He's like, oh, dang it.
Yeah. So back at home, Molly's just having a tea party with her dolls.
With her laser burn.
Yeah,
dolls.
She's like making a campfire using her eyes.
Yeah.
Amy bikes on by. It's like, hey, Scott, you're kind of like soccer and
you suck.
Captain.
I'm going to be captain instead of you. And he's like, dang it, she doesn't like me anymore.
Scott almost asked her to the dance, but wimps out. It's like, man, she doesn't have her memory anymore. She doesn't remember me.
And then Molly just like burns his shoes.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
I don't know. Molly is a villain.
She really
She does
is.
nothing but harass Scott the whole movie.
I think they're going to be like, Molly, take the oath. And she's going to say, I don't, laser. And then like kills everybody. And
that's what the sequel was planning for. But this movie was not popular.
It would have been so good. So then it's the last scene. They're at the soccer game and all of the kids are voting. And you just see one kid's like, Scott or Amy. And she's like, Amy. And then Randy's like, Scott. And then it gets to Amy. Apparently Amy gets to vote too. But it's implied that you get to vote for yourself. But Amy votes for Scott. And they're like, oh my gosh, well, Scott, it's a tied vote and you're the only one that hasn't voted yet or whatever, or you're up by 1.
Yeah.
So, and you're the only one that hasn't voted, so it looks like you're going to be captain, but then he votes for Amy.
What?
So it's a tie.
Oh my God.
Guess they have to be co-captains.
They would have been co-captains too if they just voted for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So they're doing a vote when it's an even amount of kids, which, whatever. I'd say it's stupid. And then they're playing soccer and Randy's like, I want to be your sidekick. And Scott's like, I'm not even a superhero.
Yeah. What the heck? You want to be my Robin? I'm not even Batman.
Yeah. And
that's it. That's the movie. It just kind of ends.
He doesn't really have a triumphant moment of like, I don't need powers. And like, you know, I feel like that's missing of the parents being like, look what you did without powers. Because that's kind of the moral of the story.
Yeah,
but they don't really talk about it. Yeah. They're just like, cool, we did it. We saved the day.
What do you think about Up and Away?
It's so forgettable. Like, this, I think, just is the one I forget about the most. Like, there is some fun moments. I think you're just right. It doesn't have the sauce. It's pretty bland. No one's heard of this. There's not enough there for me to be like, hell yeah, I love this movie, you know? It's fine.
I think I underrated it before because it's so unmemorable. But, like, the stuff that I remember, I had genuine fun with this. It was not a slog to get through.
It's a little bit of a slog to get through.
It's just kind of, like, not too much a cup of tea. It's just...
Not too much a cup of tea.
You know what I mean, maybe.
It's not too much a cup of tea.
It's not too much a cup of tea.
That's how we describe Up and Away.
Yeah. I think we had this ranked pretty low overall. I don't have that pulled up. I know I found it. I had it near the top of my D tier. I think I would move it to low C tier. Just because this is such a C tier movie to me. Being a movie that's not bad, but just purely forgettable, but what you do remember is fine.
Yeah, so final Drink House ranking of this was 70. Which isn't that bad. Benji, you had it at 80, and I have it at 86.
Yeah, I think I would improve it on a rewatch.
Let me see where I put it. I have it in my D tier as well, which I think I agree with. I don't think I would put it much higher than this. Just because, like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I want to watch Up and Away. It's just not as exciting to me as a lot of the other ones, so.
Yeah.
It's not bad, though. It's not like, I wouldn't say this is a bad movie. It's a DCOM. Like, it's lower quality, but that's expected. It's not, like, offensively bad like some of the other ones are, so.
Yeah. It's just a movie that's just kind of up there.
The plot's a little weak. It is Sky High before there was Sky High.
Yeah.
So, Sky High did it better.
All right. That's Up and Away.
That's Up and Away.
If you have any thoughts, please let us know. TheDCOMDuo@gmail.com.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah. What's our next DCOM going to be?
We have to spin the wheel to find out. And we have to place our bets on what we think it's going to be.
I am feeling like we're about to be in spooky season. So we're going to get the Under Wraps remake.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'll say a spooky movie too. Let me find one that we haven't done yet. Scream Team.
Scream Team.
That's a spooky one. All right, spinning the wheel.
Dun 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 dun.
Horse Sense.
Horse Sense.
Wow. This is a movie.
Yeah. You like the Lawrence brothers?
They're here.
They're here. Not one of them. He's in the sequel.
2 of them are here. Oh my god, Little Andrew Lawrence.
All right.
I love his other movies. This was the first one we watched of his, so I'm excited to revisit it. And oh boy, do we have a lot to say about the poster of this movie.
All right. Tune in next time for us to talk about Horse Sense.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Scenes from our next episode.
Man, you ever just a business boy, but you get called down to the dude ranch and you're like, oh, why isn't everything technology?
You ever just show up to like a farm and when you land, a gay cowboy checks you out?
You ever go and see that your cousin is really sad because his dad died and couldn't finish building a treehouse, so you decide to finish it, but that kind of ruins the whole mystique of it. Yeah. So he's even more mad at you.
And like he didn't even get to help you finish the treehouse, which was kind of the whole thing, was that he was doing it with his dad. But then you go out and you like name some wild horses together, and it's fine.
Yeah.
That's Horse Sense.
You ever save the dude ranch until the next movie when it's just like done?
Is it really?
And like you can't get it in the next movie.